Nobody ever warns you about this. They teach you how to talk, how to impress, how to persuade, and how to be liked. But they never teach you the most dangerous skill of all, how to stop needing people's approval. Because the moment you truly stop caring about it, something terrifying happens. You become uncontrollable. No one can bait you. No one can shame you. No one can emotionally manipulate you. And this state is not weakness. It is the purest form of power. The dangerously intelligent understand something most people never will. Attention is currency. The more you react, the easier you are to move. The quieter you become, the more your presence is felt. When you withdraw your emotional investment from the world, you don't become empty. You become unreachable. People who once ignored you begin to notice. People who once controlled you begin to fear you. People who once disrespected you suddenly behave differently, not because you spoke louder or demanded respect, but because you stopped explaining yourself. 500 years ago, Machiavelli already knew what modern people still refuse to accept. The one who chases is the one who kneels. The one who explains is the one who bleeds. The one who withdraws is the one who rules. Before we go further, understand this. Becoming uncontrollable is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming unmoved. A cold person has shut down. An unmoved person has woken up. There are 5 stages to becoming someone the world cannot move. Stay until the end, because once you cross this threshold, you cannot go back. This is the foundation, and it is the hardest one. Most people grow up believing that power comes from effort. Try harder. Care more. Show more. Explain yourself. If you just prove your value loud enough, the world will recognize it. The opposite is true. The more desperately you reach outward, the weaker your position becomes, because need creates dependence, and dependence creates hierarchy. Every time you chase someone's attention, you silently place them above you. Every time you seek approval, you admit inferiority. Every time you explain yourself, you imply guilt. Human beings subconsciously rank each other based on emotional independence, not kindness, not intelligence, not talent. The person who can walk away holds the leverage. The person who cannot is already owned. Think about 2 people at a networking event. One spends the night laughing a little too hard, agreeing a little too quickly, and following up the next day with carefully crafted messages designed to seem casual. He will do this for years and stay mostly invisible. The other arrives, speaks to 3 people, listens more than she talks, and doesn't try to be remembered. But she is, because she gave the room something rare, the experience of someone who didn't need anything from it. That is stage 1. You stop performing for approval, and the room finally starts paying attention. This is where authority is built, and where most people fail. Explaining feels like honesty. It feels like fairness. But every explanation is a small concession of authority. You are saying, "Let me prove to you that I deserve what I am doing." Authority doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't beg for understanding. It simply is, and the world adjusts to it. Once you stop explaining, 2 things happen. The people who feel entitled to your reasoning will be furious. The people who actually respect you will simply recalibrate. Anger reveals entitlement. Acceptance reveals respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal how much trouble he avoids, who does not look to see what his neighbor says, or does, or thinks. The need to be understood is the leash by which the world drags you. The moment you cut it, you become unreachable in a way no one can quite name. Think about a man who used to send long, careful messages every time he disappointed someone, apologizing in advance, explaining his reasons. People treated him as endlessly available. Then he stopped. When he couldn't make something, he simply said no. When he was misunderstood, he didn't rush to clarify. Within months, every relationship in his life had shifted. Not because he had become rude, but because he had stopped offering free access to his interior life. That is stage 2. You stop explaining, and your authority finally starts to register. Stage 2 protected your authority. Stage 3 protects your interior. The people who couldn't break you with criticism will try something subtler. They will provoke you, not to win an argument, but to find out where you can be moved. Reaction feels like standing up for yourself, but every reaction is a small handover of your inner state. When someone insults you and you respond, you validate their existence. When someone provokes you and you react, you elevate their status. Silence removes the stage entirely. Talleyrand, who survived 5 French regimes, was famous for one habit. When ambassadors tried to provoke him, he would simply pause, smile faintly, and change the subject. It drove his enemies insane because they could not get a reaction, and without a reaction, they could not get a foothold. Think about a woman who used to end every phone call with her mother, furious about something that was said. She'd spend hours replaying the conversation and drafting responses. One day, after a cutting comment, she didn't respond. She didn't argue. She just moved on to the next topic. Within 6 months, the calls had changed completely. Not because her mother had changed, but because the provocation no longer produced a reward. That is stage 3. You stop reacting, and the people who once controlled you slowly run out of weapons. Stage 3 closed your emotional triggers. Stage 4 closes your time. The people who can no longer move you with words will try to move you with proximity. They will want more of your time, more of your attention, more of your access. And if you give it freely, you hand back everything you protected in the first 3 stages. The dangerously intelligent learn to become selective. Selective with their attention, their energy, and their access. Real kindness is not infinite. It requires wisdom. It knows when to close the door. There was a man who kept every door open his entire life. He answered every message. He gave every person the benefit of the doubt 10 times over. He believed that closing a door was an act of cruelty. What he didn't understand was that some doors, when left open, are how the wolves get in. So he started closing them. Not loudly, not with announcements, just quietly and permanently. He stopped showing up to places that had stopped earning him, and power didn't have to be taken back. He simply stopped the leak. That is stage 4. You stop being available to everyone, and the people who matter finally have room to find you. This is the final stage, and it makes everything before it permanent. The previous 4 stages can be performed. You can pretend not to seek approval, pretend not to explain yourself, pretend not to react. But pretending is exhausting, and eventually the world finds the cracks. Stage 5 is when none of it is performance anymore. When detachment is no longer a discipline, it becomes an identity. Self-command requires silence, not because silence is mystical, but because silence preserves agency. Every word you speak gives information. Every reaction reveals a preference. Every explanation exposes your inner architecture. The less others know about your inner workings, the harder you are to manipulate. Lao Tzu wrote, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." The dangerously intelligent know themselves with surgical clarity. They know their triggers, their patterns, and the difference between a real reaction and a conditioned one. The inner citadel is the version of you that exists underneath every role you play, at work, in your family, in front of strangers. It is the version that watches, the version that does not need to be liked, understood, or chosen, because it has already chosen itself. And the strangest thing happens when you reach this stage. You become magnetic, not because you are trying to be, but because the world is starved for people who have stopped performing. People can sense self-possession the way animals sense water. They are drawn to it. You stop seeking approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop reacting. You stop being available. You build the citadel. And one day, you realize the version of you that used to chase, apologize, overgive, and bleed for the wrong people. That version is gone. The world has finally started to behave differently around you. Not because you forced it to, but because you became someone it could no longer pull on. If something in this feels familiar, if you saw yourself in any of these stages, then this channel was made for you. Subscribe and walk this road with us. Every week, we go deeper into the kind of wisdom most people only find after they have already been controlled by it for too long. I will see you next time.